Represent your wealth, represent your health, represent yourself. Just make sure you represent. Yeah.
This for all my young men trying to get this shit right. Right. I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time. Right. So this for all my young men trying to get this shit right. Right. I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time. Time is not a luxury, take it for granted. You gon' see such a sight when you not ready for what's to be. Always room to improve, make it do what it do.
What's up, y'all?
Find the purpose within the passion.
Welcome back to another
pain,
episode
remain
of
in your
Talk
lane, and I
Podcast.
promise you
I
gon'
am
see
your
the
guy,
change.
aka LaDon,
Motion is nothing without the
and
mindset.
yeah, this is the number one podcast for creativity meeting mental health. I'm still working on that intro, but that's definitely how I want to tie it in, right? I definitely feel that because, I deem myself a creative, and all the people I've had on the podcast, I also see as creatives. I'm trying to tie the two so that it goes creatives, making their art. How does that kind of tie in with creativity? I mean, with mental health, right? So I think that's definitely the route I'm trying to take. And that could be, a whole nother episode in itself, which it definitely will be. But that is not why we're here today. We're here today to talk about one of the scariest words that has become very prominent over the past few years, right? So this word is something that, a lot of people have experienced. I did mention it a few times in my last episode, my last solo episode with imposter syndrome. It's definitely a factor that plays into that. And yeah, it's just, it's become so big, and there are many different forms of it, like I'll talk about later. But yeah, so this word is anxiety. Yay, anxiety. No, for real though, it's definitely, something that has become a lot more talked about, and, people struggle with it a lot more regularly. I know for me, it showed up a lot when it showed up a lot more after COVID, because during COVID, we were always inside and I wasn't going anywhere, so I was always by myself. If I was going to work and coming home, right? But even at work, when COVID first hit, then there weren't a whole lot of people coming in, so I really wasn't interacting with people like that. It was very rare that I had to interact with people, so I feel like I kind of lost that skill, on top of the fact that I was already not like a social butterfly to begin with. So it was definitely harder to kind of reintegrate back into being more social and stuff, and going out to events. I think I just really started going to events this year. I went to some last year, but I was definitely a lot more hesitant. And then even in 2021, I was hesitant as well to do the same. So yeah, I'm just glad, I'm dealing with it. I know just about everybody else is. There's always something that's going on, and this is, a big issue, and I'm glad it's being talked about. But yes, we're talking about anxiety today, so I'm looking forward to that. And I have my notes again. Before I start, I do just want to say this book right here, Shook Ones by Charlemagne the God, man, that book kind of helped me understand. Well, it's called Shook One, Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me, right? So it's definitely, it's about Charlemagne. He's explaining his first experience with anxiety, and just kind of becoming aware of it for the first time. So I recommend this. It definitely helped me understand my panic attack a little bit more. I'll definitely talk about that, because that's something that helped shape me to who I am. But I definitely recommend this book for anyone who's curious on anxiety and, what it looks like in other people. And he has a therapist in here. I'm blanking on the name, but the therapist at the end of each chapter kind of gives an analysis of like of like anxiety, or like pretty much the chapter, and kind of says like, hey, this is common and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoy this book. Like this is my second time reading it, and yeah, the first time I read it, I found love with it. So yeah, I'm reading it again, but I do recommend that. So wow, okay. See, I've been talking all this time, and I haven't even started to really get into my notes, which is crazy. I'm very proud of myself, and it's not like it's just mumbo jumbo. It's actual information. So yeah, all right, let's jump right into it. All right, so if you've experienced anxiety, I do just want to let you know you're not alone. Again, this is something that everyone deals with to an extent. So, it's normal. Like, I think that is something that, needs to be talked about more. It's normal to have anxiety. That's, a lot of people deal with it, and there's nothing wrong with it. So, okay. So, let's start here. What is anxiety? The definition I found online was an episodes of intense fear/panic, and symptoms can include difficulty concentrating, irritability, or being on edge. And I definitely feel like we've all kind of had symptoms like that to some extent, right? At some point in our lives, like whether it was school or being out with people socially, or whether it's just, going back to imposter syndrome, like, not believing in yourself, or just kind of feeling inadequate, I guess. So yeah, those are just some of the symptoms of, like, what anxiety is. And then something that I wanted to kind of dive into a little bit more was like panic attacks, right? So I'll start there. That's a big chunk of anxiety for me, because I know I have many panic attacks pretty regularly. Like, they're all small and controlled, and they're just little fires that I can easily put out, but I'm also the one who starts the fire. So that's that's my thing. But I'm definitely able to understand it and recognize, when I'm starting the fire, and if I allow myself to, or if I allow the fire to continue growing, like, what am I feeding to the fire? Because that is a big part of it. What are you the one that's starting the fire, and what are you feeding to the fire? Because if you're just kind of feeding into it, yeah, the fire is obviously going to get bigger. But I think being able to be aware and recognize when you're doing certain things that are fueling your anxiety, like just being aware of it, so that it's hard to just say, oh, just stop. Like, it's not that easy. I know that. But you got to at least be aware of what you're doing to contribute to your anxiety, right? So going back to panic attacks, right? So, well, I'll explain it first, and then I'll give my my personal story. So, a panic attack is defined as sudden periods of intense discomfort, fear, sense of losing control, even though no clear danger is present, and comes without warning. So, yeah, it's just like, holy shit, everything is going absolutely wrong. I'm going to, like, I might die in this very moment, right? 9 times out of 10, you're not, right? It's just overthinking, and, that's you kind of fueling the fire a little bit. So I definitely want to say, it's a lot of it is internal, right? Like, that's what it is. It's just your thoughts and how you're going about it, how you're thinking about it, what you're telling yourself in that moment. those are the things that fuel, a panic attack. So some of the causing factors are stress and negative feelings, and some of the signs and symptoms are like rapid heart rate, shortness of breath, sweating, feeling of doom or danger, chills, hot flashes, nausea, and trembling and tingling. So, yes. So my own story. It was I think it was spring of 2019, right before I was about to graduate. I'm pretty sure it was like either March or April. So yeah, I think it was like an evening or something. Like I just got out the shower and I'm in the bathroom, right? And I have my music on, just minding my business. And then I don't know, like, so I'm standing over the sink, just kind of looking into the mirror, right? And out of nowhere, my heart starts racing and I start hyperventilating, like really like I had that feeling of like, yo, I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on, right? So, I'm grabbing my chest because I'm like, holy crap, what is this? And, I'm just panicking, freaking out. I'm not like screaming or anything. I'm just having trouble breathing, and it's hard for me in the moment, right? Because I don't know what's going on, so I don't know what to do. So as I'm like breathing rapidly, I start sweating a little bit because I'm getting hot. So the only thing I could think to do was to lay on the floor, right? So I'm laying on the floor. I'm still like, kind of breathing fast and everything. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell is that? Like the floor was cold. So, that helped me kind of calm down a little bit. And at the time I was talking to my friend Sam, and I was like texting her a little bit too. I was like, yo, like, hey, I think I'm panicking right now. Like I'm freaking out. I don't know what's going on, and she's, trying to walk me through it. But in the moment, it's hard to like, if someone's like, oh, just breathe. It's like, I'm trying to breathe, but in the moment, I can't, like, it's hard for me to do that. So yeah, I'm like freaking out and stuff, like, and then like as I'm laying on the floor, I start to calm myself down. Then I'm like, all right, oh, there go those sirens. Yeah, but I think it was hard because I didn't know what was going on. And so I get up, I leave the bathroom and everything, like, and my boy, mind you, like, I'm living with my boys at the time. And sorry guys, I apologize. I live in Dorchester. This is yeah, I can't help it. But yeah, so as I'm having my panic attack, my boys that I'm living with at Salem are right outside in the living room, right? They don't know what's going on. They didn't know that this happened. I don't think I told any of them about it, like, still to this day, right? Like, I don't think I have. Maybe I did, but it's not something that I talked to them about just because I didn't feel comfortable, right? But that's another conversation. But yeah, so I didn't talk to them about it. I just walked out of the bathroom like nothing happened. I got into my bed and I'm pretty sure I just chilled there, But I was like nervous because I was like, yo, what the hell was that? And so as I'm talking to my friend Sam, she's like, oh, well, I was also reading this book by Charlemagne, which funnily enough, yeah, that's, I don't know. It was weird. So I think it was kind of like perfect timing that I had the book because it was like teaching me about Charlemagne's anxiety and, how he kind of coped with it, like what he was doing. He talked about how he went to therapy and everything. And it wasn't a thought at the time to go to therapy, but that's something that Sam told me. She was like, hey, I think you should go to therapy, or like just go talk to someone about what just happened because you probably have a lot on your mind. And I did, because this was my last year at Salem State. So I'm thinking about graduating. I'm thinking about getting a job out of school. I'm also thinking about, I I was also congratulating myself because I was like, I went from my sophomore year was terrible. Like I think I had like a one something. Like my GPA was low. I was on academic probation, but between the second half of my sophomore year and up until my last semester at school, I really turned it around. I got A's and B's, so I was, proud of myself. I'll give myself a pat on the back. But, I'm thinking about all these factors, and it's like, holy crap, like I'm about to go into the real world, right? Like, what does that look like? I also had to take a summer class too and do an internship, so I was like, not knowing how that's going to go. And yeah, I was nervous because I'm like, this is all the stuff I have to deal with. And, there is a lot of pressure on kids, well, not kids, but, young adults, like, especially after you graduate college, it's like, you have to have your life figured out, which is total bullshit. I'm 22, 23 years old. Why do I have to have the rest of my life planned? That just doesn't make sense to me, and I'll do another episode where I talk about, my college journey and stuff, because I didn't necessarily agree with college. I still have my feelings about college, but, again, that's a whole nother episode. But yeah, so it was hard in the moment to kind of realize that, but as I'm dealing with all these factors, I was like, okay, maybe I will go talk to someone. So at Salem State, I was able to speak with a therapist, a black woman, and she helped me a little bit. It sucked because it was only like a month really of sessions, which is only like, we met for like an hour once a week. So, it was like, it didn't really feel the most productive, right? But because I'm like, if we only had time to meet for a month because I went to her so late, but it's like I had so much to talk about, but not really a place to open up for it. And then, by me going for only a month, it was like, okay, I'm starting to open up, but now that this is being taken away from me, I don't have a reason to open up. And as a black man, yeah, if I feel like this is not even just black men, but I'm speaking from my perspective. Like if something is starting to go well and I start to feel comfortable and then it's kind of taken away from me in a sense, yeah, I'm going to go back to being shelled up and not want to talk about it, because why would I subject myself to the possibility of something, right? Or why would I want to be open in a certain environment just to have it taken away from me, and then I don't have access to it anymore? Then it kind of feels like, damn, I opened up for nothing. So I think, like, I did have a change of mind too, because now I'm like, okay, I'll just talk about it, because no one can hold that against me. No one can hold anything against me, because I'm so comfortable with everything that has happened to me. It's all shaped me. But, I think going to at least having that outlet for a little bit was definitely helpful. So my main goal is to, I would love for everyone to at least see a therapist to talk about some stuff. If it's not for you, or you feel like it's not for you, cool. But everybody, or most people, definitely have some sort of trauma that they should talk about, because no one grew up perfect and stuff. Like, there was always something. Some people might have grown up perfect, cool. Can't say the same for myself. But, I think it's important for people of color to use an outlet like that to, help, because it's hard for us, because we're at a disadvantage already with normal environments, but at the same time, some people allow that to limit them. And there are a lot more factors, so I don't want to come across as like ignorant or anything, but it's not always the environment. Sometimes it's just the people that limit themselves, right? So I will say, my main thing is, like if you have the option to go see a therapist or talk to a professional, I highly recommend it. So that kind of took a turn a little bit, but that's where everything was going. And yeah, that was my experience with the panic attack and everything. I think, something else that I kind of deal with a lot is social anxiety. So, like I was talking about earlier during COVID, like, I didn't have to be social. And then when everything opened back up, it was like, okay, now I can be social again, but I kind of don't know how to be social, and I'm an awkward person. Like, I just prefer to be quiet, shout out to my introverts. Whoop. We're out here. I think it's hard being introverted because I'm like, dang, I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, nah, there's too many people. Like, I don't really feel like it. Like, I'll just stay home. Like, I enjoy my peace a lot more than I enjoy being around people, realistically. And I don't have any shame in that because that's what it is, but I will say every introvert needs an extrovert friend, an extroverted friend, because they're the ones who are going to help you break out of your shell so you're not just being the same old person. Like, it does help to step out every now and then, to like be around people so you get that social experience. But yeah, at times you're not going to want to do things. I really don't want to do anything. Like, I don't know when you guys are going to get this episode. But whenever you do, it'll be, I've already made the declaration to myself. I'm recording this in August, so I've already made the declaration to myself to not, like, I'm not going to go out and, spend money if I don't need to for the rest of the year. Like, that's something that I want to be strict on myself with. Like, to have a good time, whatever, that's cool, but realistically, I don't really want to go anywhere. Like, I'm just kind of focused on the podcast, making money. Those are like my two big things, and also, taking care of myself. But yeah, like my podcast and money, those are the two big dogs right now for me. But going back to social anxiety, so social anxiety is defined as overwhelming, ongoing fear of being watched, judged by others. Yes, that is something that, a lot of people deal with. Not a whole lot, but, I definitely know some of my friends are, social butterflies, and I give them credit for that because I know I'm not really like that. And I don't want to, I don't want to be that person to be like, oh, well, I need alcohol to have. No, I don't need it. It definitely helps with being more open, but I know, like, just being around people, like, I'm not easily able to just be like, oh yeah, let me talk to you about whatever, or like go up and say hi. Like, no, I'm just gonna sit back and watch and just be out the mix from everybody, because that's how I feel comforted, right? So that's how I feel comfortable. Like, I'm always gonna worry about me being comfortable first. So yes, social anxiety is not fun. But yeah, so another definition I have is a fear of social situations so great that is beyond their control, which is true, because yeah, I don't. Sometimes I do have another example. I gave the example during my imposter syndrome episode. Wow, I can't speak today. This is crazy. But yeah, when I was out and I, was like, hey, I know all these people, but I didn't feel like I should be there, That was kind of, I think that's also that was definitely social anxiety, because I was like, I know these people, but I shouldn't be here. But I'm like, I don't want to talk to these people. Like, I don't feel like I should talk to them and stuff. It was literally a spiral. That's how it works for introverts dealing with anxiety. Like, it's a downward spiral. And, you know, I think we have to be able to kind of stop it like in its tracks before it gets really out of hand. So some of the causing factors of social anxiety are genetics and learned behaviors. I think a lot of it is learned behaviors. I know I stay inside. I didn't really go out and stuff, like, just because growing up, you know, my mom didn't really let us go outside and roam around and stuff like that, which was, you know, for the better. I'm not against it, but I know that I struggle with being social now because of that. Like, I had a bike and stuff, and I could literally go from my driveway to my next door neighbor. Like, that's as far as I was really allowed to go. So, you know, I never really went anywhere. I didn't meet any people. I wasn't out here when I was younger and stuff. Like, I was really inside, you know, and my mom was like that too. So, you know, she was always in the house most of the time. So, you know, we never really, that's what I saw from her. So that's what I saw her doing. I was like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, just staying inside, staying out of trouble and all that, which was, you know, not bad, but it wasn't necessarily good for my social skills. So I definitely do want to say, you know, in terms of anxiety overall, like, your fear is not your own. Like, most of the time, well, I would say all the time, you know, someone kind of put that fear inside of you. And again, like, this is, I know for me, that's how I think about a lot of stuff. Or, like, for most, you know, blue collar workers, if you're my age, right, or like around my age, I'm 26. If you're around my age, and, you know, you had parents who worked 9 to 5s and stuff, you know, they might have been, oh, save your money for a rainy day and stuff like that, you know, like, and there's nothing wrong with saving, but I'm also like, now in this day and age, you got to be investing, right? Like, investing in, I don't know if you know about stocks, go ahead. If you want to invest in real estate, go ahead. Like, but, you know, even in yourself, like, you should be investing in yourself, right? I think a lot of people think of it as, you know, oh, I'm spending this money. If you're investing it in the right things, it's not spending the money, because it's going to come back to you, right? So some of the things that I use to invest, I use, like, Stash. I have life insurance. I've also invested in, you know, courses for my personal development, which I feel is necessary. So, you know, things like that, that's stuff that you want to invest in, right? Things that will eventually bring you money back down the line. Because with Stash, so I have money coming out of my account weekly, and, you know, that builds up over time, and then it goes into, like, I have it going to stocks. I don't really know too much about stocks, but it goes to the stocks, and then years later, like, I let that, when I first got my Stash account, I think 3 years ago, I let it build up, and then for the first time, I touched that money, I think this year, and I was like, oh, that's how much I had saved up. So, you know, it was good. It was nice to, you know, to kind of see that, you know, to kind of see that roll over and be like, yo, like, I put that aside for 3 years. I didn't touch it. And then I just came back to it, and I was like, oh yeah, nah, I like that. So yeah, now I'm going to let it build up even longer. See how much that return is, right? With life insurance, that's just, man, if something happened to me, you know, so be it. But, like, at least I know that my family is taken care of, and the money, like, we won't be struggling for money to pay for, like, my funeral or whatever. Like, I have life insurance. So if something does happen, my family has money that they're going to get that they can make payments with. So they're not going to be, you know, for me, I'm not a big fan of GoFundMe, but, you know, I see a lot of people do that, but I'm like, okay, so realistically, instead of looking for a GoFundMe after the person dies, if they get life insurance while they're alive, then I don't know. That's how it works in my head. Like that's how I understand it, right? I'm not knocking anybody. That's just what I believe. This is my opinion. But yeah, I think I kind of forgot where I was going. I don't know how I got there. But yeah, like, it's definitely, no, I do know, sorry. But yeah, I think that fear, it comes from, I think a lot of it is, parents or like other people, adults they were too scared to try. So they never did. So they tell you not to do it because they don't know how it's going to work out. But it's like, why are you telling me not to do it? Because if you tried it and it didn't work for you, you and I are two different people. So you can't tell me not to do something based off of your experience. You can say, hey, maybe try this or whatever. But even if you haven't done it, I'm not listening to you. Like, why? How are you telling me about something you've never done? How do you know it can't be done? It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I definitely think that, you gotta a lot of unlearning to do. Like, I recently just took a course and I'm doing a lot of unlearning, right? In terms of like my mindset and the way things were wired. And it's not easy because I just did this, I finished the course maybe last month. Yeah, August is almost over. That's so crazy. But yeah, I think I finished it in July. And yeah, man, like, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not. Like, I finished it last month and I'm still unlearning. Like, it's easy to apply and everything, like, but yeah, you gotta unlearn. Like, there's so many belief systems and stuff that you gotta break down. You really gotta lock in on like what it is you want and understand the things that are stopping you from getting there, right? Because people will try to, distract you from your goals or put that fear in you to stop you from doing what you should be doing. But it's like, yeah, no, your voice has to be louder than the external voice, right? Or like your positive voice inside has to be louder than the negative voice. So you have to be able to tell yourself, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. That has to be louder than what everyone else is telling you to do. Because everyone else, they're just giving you suggestions. Oh yeah, you would be great doing this. Yeah, that's cool. But if I don't want to do it, then I'm not going to do that. If I have something that I genuinely want to do, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, yeah, that's really how I look at that. And yeah, so going back to social anxiety, like, some of the signs and symptoms are feeling embarrassed, anxious, sweating, heart palpitations, stiff posture, overly soft voice, difficulty being around new people. Yeah, that's me. I don't like new people. It's difficult to be around new people. I agree. Difficult to make eye contact. I struggle with that regularly. And being self-conscious or fearful of being judged negatively. Whew. Yeah, man. These are just, everything is hitting the nail right on the head, because this is all the stuff that I deal with, and I know some other people who deal with the same thing. I know someone who might be listening might be dealing with the same exact thing, So it's like, you're not alone. You're not alone at all. Like, this is regular. This is normal for people. So, some of the best ways that I cope with it, same thing with imposter syndrome, I talk about it. Like, my anxiety, I definitely don't like to talk to my friends because I feel like I'm burdening them, even though they're literally be like, no, like, go on and talk. Like, you're not bothering me. In my anxious head, I'm like, oh no, like, I'm definitely bothering them. Like, they're just being nice. Like, no, like, they care about you. They care about what you have to say, So I need to take my own advice on that and, listen to myself. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's just, you got to talk about it. And who you should talk about it with? You should talk to a therapist. Yeah, therapy. Cause like, man, they're the ones, like, they went to school for that. They know what they're doing. They get paid to help you work through your traumas, your problems, your issues. That's what they're there for. I highly recommend Black Man Safe Haven. Shout out to Kizzle. He started that. He started the Express Yourself Black Man page, and then, created this network of, black men and women, or like, just, I think it's just people in general, but I know specific to like black men and women, because we're the ones who need that space for us to talk about what's going on, because we don't talk about it, and we don't have the space to talk about it. And that's also something too, like, I know I've said this before, like, I don't know if I've said this on the pod, but like, it's not up to someone else to say they're a safe person, you can trust them, whatever. Like, how do I know that? Like, you can say, oh yeah, you can trust me. I don't know if I can trust you. It's not up to you to decide if I can trust you or not. I have to decide that. So all you can do, you can be yourself. I'll decide if I feel comfortable around you, if I feel safe enough to open up to you, right? That's my decision. So yeah, stop saying that to people. That bothers me, and I don't know if it bothers anybody else, but I really get upset. Oh, this is a safe space. You can try. I don't know that. Stop telling me that. That's manipulative. Don't do that. Let me make that decision. Okay, that's the end of my rant. But yeah, back to Black Man Safe Haven. Like, I recommend them. I actually just rejoined the wait list. I was in there, but then once I found the therapy subscription, like, I started doing that. So I thought I was good, but I was like, dang, I made a mistake by leaving. So I'm going back. So Kizzo, if you hear this, yeah, I'm trying to get back in, cause, well, there's a wait list. So I'm not looking for special treatment or anything, but like, yeah, it's definitely, like, I'm on the wait list right now. So I'm just looking to kind of get back into that space for sure. Just being around like-minded people and like having that support, that's another form of support right there. Cause you might be able to connect with someone, and they could be like people in your city that you never knew, they could be down the street from you type shit, so it's like, those are the networks that you want to join. You want to be around like-minded people. Like, when I went to that conference in Miami, oh my God, being around all those like-minded people who have a podcast, and I'm learning from people. Like, yo, my guy, damn, bro, I don't even remember his name, but B-Ball Jones on IG, bro, like, that's my man. He just gave me so much game, bro. And it was only like a 10-minute conversation, but I just felt, he was genuine in like what he was telling me, which is like, yeah, that's dope, bro. Like, that's how you should be. Like, you should want to help people out of the kindness of your heart. And that's what he did for me. So, I'm grateful for him. I'm definitely, like, I give him his props, and I told him, I was like, yo, like, we gotta stay connected. We gotta do a podcast together too, so we definitely gonna make that happen for sure. But yeah, so, talking about it, being around the right people, and again, write it down, like, that's another good way to deal with it, there is another form of anxiety that I read about in this book, Shook One, right? And this is something that kind of stood out to me. So it's called anticipatory anxiety. And what that is expecting the worst, even though the situation and symptoms don't indicate that the worst is going to happen. And automatic thoughts leading to false assumptions, leading to misguided emotions. I'm going to say that again. Automatic thoughts leading to false assumptions, leading to misguided emotions. So that's just thoughts that you're already like, you're creating your assumptions, right? And then being like, oh, this is my assumption, this is my thought. I'm making an assumption based off of my thought, and now because of my assumption, I'm feeling a way about it. But that probably wasn't even the situation. So, oh man, that's deep. Oh, I hope that hits somebody, cause like, yo, your thoughts, actions, and behaviors are like, thoughts. I think it's thoughts, behaviors, and something else. Like, they're all connected, but it's like, it's just, man, the way you think it, and the way you think, that's gonna cause you to like make assumptions about something, and then from your assumptions, you making emotions, but that wasn't even the real situation. So you just feeling a way because you made yourself feel that way, not even because that's really what the situation was. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. And yeah, man. So, along with that is incongruence. And, I think some of us know what that is, but to give a explanation, to go a little deeper, is, when things you think, feel, and consequently do don't match up with who you are inside. So, I think that goes into, hanging around certain kind of people. Like, who are you around? Are you hanging around people who don't align with you? Like, are they doing things that they bother you, right? But you still hang around with them anyways. Like, they say certain things, they do certain things, and that's what you're around, so that's kind of what you're gonna act like. And if that bothers you, if the things they do bother you, and you still hang around with them, you probably gonna start picking up on those habits too, right? And I'm probably gonna mess this up, but there's a video with Charlemagne and Kanye when they were doing their interview, and Kanye was like, if you hang around people who oh my gosh, I can't even. If you hang around people who don't act like you are, you'll forget who you are. It's something along those lines. I'm blanking. I'm so mad. But that's like, I think that was just a powerful quote, man. Like, if you're hanging around the wrong people who don't help you embody who you are as a person, you're gonna forget who you really are. So that's a big thing, man. Like, who were you around? Really do a cleanse of, like, a deep cleanse of, like, your friends or your Instagram. Like, who are you following? What kind of information are you putting into your head, right? Like, I know I follow a lot of, I'll say, like, motivational pages, and like I follow Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson. I follow some musicians like Rod Wave, Big Sean, but those are people who inspire me, right? Like, I love what they do. I love how they go about themselves, right? A lot of the men I follow on social media are fathers, husbands, That's the kind of stuff that I see for myself. So, yeah, when I hang around people who just act toxic, I know I act toxic at times, like when I'm out with my friends, like, I do it to get a reaction out of them, but it's still like, by me doing that, like, my body doesn't know that I'm actually not toxic, because I'm acting on these things. Like, that's like, your body doesn't know what's real and what's fake. We had a shout out to Jason, because we had this conversation last night, and I think he said Bruce Lee said that, like, you can't tell yourself negative things, because whether you're joking or not, your body doesn't know it's a joke. So, yeah, you can't be negative to yourself. You can't be disgusting and say bad things, because then you'll start to embody that, which is, not ideal for most people. Like, most people, oh, I want this. You have to tell yourself those things, but you can't be so hard on yourself when things don't work. That's a big thing. for all my anxiety fighters. I learned that term too. That's anxiety fighters. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. I'm hard on myself all the time. I was supposed to record this yesterday and I didn't do it, and part of me was like, damn, I messed up. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I'm doing it now. Like, you gotta give yourself a lot more grace, right? Like, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to tell yourself good things about yourself. Be positive. Do some affirmations. That's how you should start your morning, with some affirmations. Give yourself that self-love from the beginning of the day. Oh, damn, I'm getting a little deep. But nah, man, it's definitely important to, you gotta love yourself. You gotta appreciate yourself. You gotta give yourself grace for making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. How you bounce back from it? What's next? That's how you gotta look at it. So, yeah, I think I really just love kind of just understanding, like learning and understanding, how mental health works. So I think, this was a good conversation. I was able to, kind of get some stuff off and kind of let you guys in to my background a little bit. And, that's what I'm here for. Like, my life is an open book. I don't really try to hide anything. Like I said earlier, you can't hold anything against me because I'm so comfortable with everything. Like, everything that's happened in my life, good or bad, I've made peace with it. So I know how it affected me. I know how I reacted in the moment. It might not have always been the best, but, I think it's being able to learn and bounce back. Like, that's some of the most important things in life. I think there's another quote that's like, life is 90% what happens to you and 10% how you react. That 10% goes a long way. Like, it's about how you react to stuff. You don't always have to respond. In the moment, like, it might be hard, but sometimes you just gotta walk away. But, I think it's important for us to just really, like, bro, don't be so hard on yourself. Just take a breath. If you having a hard time, you're struggling, walk away from it. Take a break. Come back to it. It's okay. Like, that's stuff that, I have to tell myself now. So, yeah, man. I just want to say I'm here for you guys. I love you guys. I really appreciate, you guys tuning in with me and supporting me. And, I do what I can to, be consistent with the podcast and kind of do what I need to, right? But yeah, man. I just want to say shout out to you guys. Shout out to Charlemagne the God for writing, that book, Shook One. And he also has another book, Black Privilege. That was his debut novel. And, that just kind of talks about his background story, which is another great read. So, yeah, man, I definitely recommend them. If you have any other books that you like, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at @akthedon_. Yeah, that's my Instagram. And yeah, when I post these clips, man, like, if you have any other tips or anything to help deal with anxiety, let me know, and I can provide that to the people, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help other people. That's what I feel like my mission is. My name, Akani, means messenger, so I'm here to bring things and share it with others. That's what I'm here for, right? Okay. Well, yeah. So again, thank you guys for tuning in to Don Talk Podcast. Y'all know what time it is, y'all. It's Don season, baby. Woo! See, I got on the back of my shirt. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw that, but yeah, it's on the back of my shirt, man. It's Don Talk Entertainment. Like, yeah, it's Don season for real. Like, Don season is just a That's my thing, man. When it's time to lock in, it's go time. Like, we gotta do what we supposed to. Ain't no half stepping. Like, you gotta commit to it. It's all or nothing. So yeah, it's nonsense.
Let's get it.
Right.
Time is not a luxury, take it for granted. You gon' see such a sight when you not ready for what's to be. Always room to improve, make it do what it do. Find the purpose within the passion, crashing off the pain. Remain in your lane, and I promise you gon' see the change. Motion is nothing without the mindset. Running in circles never brings out the best. Stay grounded even when you feel like life is throwing its tests. I can overcome all that I go through. Run through the levels that most optimals aren't sharp to. Fuck a reputation, just get your reps in. Cause when it's going down, they'll never be in question. Even when they try to push you, just remember your name is your name. Stand tall as you breeze through the flames. Stand tall as you breeze through the flames.
Yeah, this for all my young men trying to get this shit right. Right, I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time. Right, said this for all my young men trying to get this shit right. Right, I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time. Right, said this for all my young men trying to get this shit right. Right, I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time. Yeah, right.
Damn, it kills me when I see pain in my sister's eyes. Cause I can feel the shit, but when asked, she gon' say I'm fine. Told me if I don't value myself, then we'll never be in line for the changes that we pray to be aligned. My frustrated demeanor never really got in between us, but you always kept it real, never let me get comfortable. I tell you daily, but I love your soul. Damn,
I tell you daily, but I love your soul.
Stacking scriptures, finding power in every word. Conscious of the fact that action is the only